rating it, but you can describe what you're fluent in it. For example, you should only describe English as a professional working proficiency, or you are very fluent in it, okay? Or as well for your Mandarin language, if you are native in it, then you can put as native proficiency. And let's say for me, I'm a Malay, they can put as native for Malay. Okay, so it really depends on how you want to describe your competency or your proficiency for that, I say level. Okay. All right, so next up. Okay, you're almost done. Next up will be your references. Okay, I believe this is very optional. Okay, as some say, why do you have to have references? You know, some of the CV I see don't even include references. Okay, that may be true, but at your stage, usually it's more important because they need a lot of references, especially when you're, you know, starting your career. So they want to see that they have someone who can vouch for you. Okay. So who should you put as your referees? Basically anyone from your lecturers or any of your past, you know, supervisors or past employers that you've worked with before. You should not put your family, okay? They don't want to know whether this is your father or this is your sister. They can vouch for you. Obviously, they will. But in a professional setting, they would not know, okay? So it's best to put someone that is more familiar in terms of your working setting. Okay, so for this part, you should at least put 2 references to support your resume. So that will be by the end of your you know, section. So what do you include? It should usually be the name. So if they have a, I say, a position, you should mention that. For example, Dr. Anila Yap, and the title is assistant professor at where? At Zaman University Malaysia. And you should include the contact details as well, which is the email address and also contact number. However, for the contact number is only if they allow you or if it's permitted, then you should include, because some of them might be more sensitive. So by sharing their contact number is not really, you know, allowed. But if they allow, then go ahead. So that's it for references. Moving on is our pro tips for resumes. So first of all is find a nice and professional easy template. So there's multiple, maybe like thousands of resume templates that you can use online. For example, is by going through Canva. I'm sure most of you have heard of it. So that's one of the example of a website that you can actually see thousands of templates you can find from. Make sure it's very clean and easy to read, and make sure it's 1 to 2 pages. And what I mean by clean and easy is in terms of the color and how the format goes. You don't want like a format, or I'm sorry, a resume full of like rainbows, okay? Like here is like black, here is like suddenly pink. You should at least maintain 2 tone colors to see it's more readable and it's more nice to see, okay? You should stick to one standard font or font size, okay? That's standardized throughout the whole resume. You should use your bullet points, bolds, and italics whenever necessary. Usually when you want to highlight something important or when you want to mention for a certain role or period. So you should use for only that time only, okay? So you should keep it short and concise. You don't want it to be too lengthy, but not too short. So you have to make sure it's impactful in a way it has all the information and all the things that you need all in one page maximum. So as mentioned, you should use the same general format for all your sections in your education, your work experience, your ECA and volunteer activities, and also your references. Okay, so next up. So this will be your don'ts for a resume. First of all, is no handwriting. Okay, I think nowadays no one is using their writing or handwriting for the resumes, so everything is computer generated. Make sure you don't include any unnecessary details. For example, your age, your height, your weight, your favorite food, your favorite dog. No one wants to know. It's good if you want to share to your friends, but not in a resume. Make sure it's not double-sided. What this means that when you print out your resume, make sure it's not double-sided, so they can see, like, you know, it should be 1 page only, or if it's not, it should be in 2 page for them to see. Grammatical and spelling errors, like I mentioned, ensure that all your resumes, all your sentences are all grammatically correct. So we can usually do is use Grammarly or even like ChatGPT as well, just to see whether it's okay in terms of the spelling errors. Okay. Like I mentioned, no bad color combination. Ensure it's at least two-tone or it's a nice tone or nice color to see and read whenever you're applying for job applications. Using a professional email address, okay? Not using like, for example, stupid guy or too hot to handle at gmail.com. Okay, it doesn't show that you're serious when applying for a job. And it shows that, you're using anything aside by your real name when, using your professional email. Another thing is you do not need to provide your full home address. For example, you live in like floor 9, block 11, stroke, Jalan Impian. They don't want to know. They just want to know where you live in terms of location. So if you live in KL, you put Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. If you live in, Siam, you can put as Sepang, Selangor. So in a way, they know in terms of where you are available and whether it's easy for you to like locate or manage your commute whenever you want to apply for that kind of job. Okay, so that's it for the don'ts. So this is basically the summary of resume. It's basically to include your personal and contact information and also personal photo. So if you have, then you should put. If not, then it really depends. Okay. Next up will be your career objective or your personal statement to show that what you want and what you can offer. In a way, it's a summary of who you are, your education background, your working experience, if you have any involvement in any extracurricular or volunteering experiences, your achievements, your honors, your skills and languages, and also your references too. Okay, so although this is a bit brief, it can be a bit more complex, but at your stage, this will be more than enough, especially when you're applying for internship. Okay, so I think that's about it for. Yeah, so now I'll be passing it to my colleague Terry to explain on the cover letter.
So for the cover letter, it is basically a letter that you describe yourself and then you send to the employer itself. So whenever you send the cover letter, you already know that which of the position that you're going to apply and which of the position that the company are giving you the opportunities. So basically, your cover letter should be within 1 pages and in PDF format only. So what is in the cover letter? I will give you the example also. So the first thing is you need to address the hiring manager like, dear Mr. Abdurrahman, like this. Just address his name, dear da, da, da. And if possible, if you can get the address, also can put the address inside here. And then the next step is what position that you are looking for. If you are from IBU, maybe you're looking for marketing. If you're ADT, maybe you are looking for designer for the department. Sure, you're just can telling them, oh, I'm writing to apply for the position of social media writer. I think this is from a JRN student. And then you can have a brief introduction on your education or work or ECA events or club and societies. Just telling them, okay, so right now you're a social media writer. So maybe you're one of the public relation, maybe leader or member of a club or society. Then you can just list it down, or we have created an account and then advertise on when, and then we have like a lot of experience on it. And then you can highlight your skill set. Remember to highlight the skill sets whoever that fit the position, such as like if salespeople, you need to highlight like communication, sales. If designer or maybe IT students, you need to highlight your technical skills part, like even you join any of the event before, get any of the um participating any competition before, and you get an award, then you can include that. And then a closing remarks, interview request, you can just return that your phone is where, your mobile number is what, and then if possible, you can have a discussion on it and meet you directly on there. And then remember to include a thank you note. That's all for the cover letter. And then this is the email cover letter. It's pretty much similar as the previous one. However, this is, if you got the email cover letter, then you don't need a cover letter already. This is usually when you have the email of the PIC. You have the email of the PIC. If you don't have, you only can apply from like, let's say JobStreet or the third party's website. Then you include the cover letter. If not, then basically you'll need to have this one. It's also the same. Address them, say what you want to do the position, who are you, and then include your skills, what position are you looking for, and then include your resume, and then they can reach out to you back via email or maybe your WhatsApp number, and then saying thank you again. WhatsApp number you can include here if you want. Next part. This is an application in the email. You can choose either this one or the previous one. They're much similar, I can say. But application letter is pretty much you saw them posted on LinkedIn maybe. And then you approach them via LinkedIn. Then they didn't reply you for a few days. Then if you got their email, you can directly send application stating that, oh, I saw your vacancies on your LinkedIn and I am trying to reaching out you here. I am from Semen University, Malaysia, and I've attached my resume and cover letter for consideration. And then again, the interview request, and then a thank you. Okay, that's all about cover letter. It's fast. And now we'll talk about interview. So whenever you submit a resume and a cover letter, when the company is trying to reach out back to you, the first thing you need to do is you're having an interview with them, maybe with the HR or with your supervisor directly, or even with the CEO on the team. So the first thing you need to consider is what is the dress code you should wear. Okay, so look, these three kind. Okay. So basically you need to wear professional style. If guys, you just follow whatever is here. Blazer, a smart format, long pants, a covered shoes. If ladies, you can either wear shoes like same as the guys, or you can wear long skirt that covered your knees. Okay, covered your knees. You are not allowed to wear like this kind of thing. And then for hair, also, for both boys and girls, remember to make it tidy. You don't want like your hair be like very messy, just like you just wake up and then you just very rush to the interview session. They'll think that you're very like unprofessional. And for shoes, for ladies, you can either way wear covered shoes or wear heels that not too long, like 6 cm. There is some recommendation, which is my ruler, less than 3 inches, then should be fine. As you need to be aware, you might fall off if you're wearing too high. So here are some pro tips for you. So for do, please always be honest. If they ask something like, can you introduce yourself? You don't keep lying them. Oh, actually, you got a lot of experience. You did very well in your club and societies. You get a lot of award in the competition. Just be honest. Just say what you have done before, and dress well, just like previously what I mentioned. And always keep calm. You don't talk, and then you just suddenly feel shy, and then you're just stuck in there and do nothing. And always stay motivated. Always like you are really keen to talk with them. Don't just like, oh, after talk with them, then you suddenly feel back, more back, more back. No. And always be respectful, always smile to them, and be responsible. And the most important, be punctual. Small tips for you guys. If you are you are interviewing the company in maybe KL's area, or maybe even more far away, and you're staying in Xiamen University, Malaysia right now, please always go there earlier. Even one day before, you can go there to have a look. How is your way to going to the venue to have the interview? And always be there maybe 30 minutes earlier, as you can't even understand the traffic at the KL area there. So always be punctual, be earlier. Be earlier is not a wrong. Actually, you can even go there like 30 minutes or 1 hour to just give yourself calming, give yourself some time to prepare, to be steady, and just go ahead. And remember to mute your cell phone. Don't give them a chance to let your phone to ring during the interview. Is very weird and you're shy. Okay, but dons, during the interview, you shouldn't be gossip there, like talking the bad word about your lecturer, talking about something bad about your family. No. If you don't know what slack off means, like you're replying them, like not even looking at them, and then keep shaking your head, and then sitting like a dead fish, and then do not steal anything. So based on the conversation between some of the company, there is some students, not really from our uni, but there is some students when they're having the interview session, actually they steal something from the company, such as the leaf, the flower, and some of the ang pao even. So it's a very bad thing. So don't even do this, okay? And then don't falsify your information, which is just be honest and tag on roles that are not under your job title before interview. Remember, yeah, this is very important. Next one. So before the interview, what should you do? You need to research the company. So if you receive a interview from email maybe, and from let's say Agoda, so you can just open your Google and search who is Agoda and understand their uh, environment, understand somehow sort of history. Like you should know what position they even give to you, right? Understand that. So and prepare some interview questions that we will talk about later, and prepare the important documents. So when you go to the interview session, do always prepare resume, your application letter, and your transcript. Search is optional. If you got too many, then I will suggest you just get a file and print all this of thing, print out, and then just bring it there. If they ask from you, then you can just directly pass it to them. If they didn't ask from you, then you just keep it yourself, and then decide what to wear earlier. So during the interview, this is some sort of like we conclude all the impression from the employers. So 20% of them will look on your first impression. How do you appear in the interview session? How do you greet them? And how do you introduce yourself? And then 65% of them will be communication. How is your body language? Are you, when you're talking, you're just keep like moving here and there? Are you looking at them? Are you like answer very polite, or are you just laughing here and there? And are you able to respond to the question? And then 15% of them is the integrity of the candidate. And here are some interview questions for yourself. So this is very common. Almost, okay, every interview will have this. They'll just ask you to introduce yourself. So again, I believe that you should able to search online. Almost everyone is giving you the answer that don't repeat the thing that you're already written in your resume. Sorry. Like don't repeating where are you from, your CGPA is how much, you're studying which background, you participating in which club and societies, which award do you get. Don't talk about this. You can just introduce yourself. If you want, you also can include your hobby and just trying to attract them. Even you can say, well, why you are looking for this particular industry, such as I'm applying one of the internship for Xiamen. Then I can say, oh, I'm applying for the Xiamen because I really interested in academic industry. And when I do the research, then Xiamen is the best for it. Something like that. This is what you can say. And even this is also the second common question. What is your greatest weakness and strength? Please always remember that uh, for weakness, for strength, confirm you can say a lot of strength that you have. For weakness, please don't just say that if you go to a like sales position, then you say you are shy. If you go to a design position, then you say you're not good in design. Okay, this all is very uncommon sense thing. So for weakness, what we will suggest you, if you just give weakness that you have right now, plus you are currently studying something or you're currently changing something for it. Then they can see that you are currently like improve yourself. And then I think this also will be very important. What do you see yourself in 5 years? Basically, is from the company that wish you to be a permanent job, to be a permanent workers. Then you can start to like telling them they just want to see that if you are people that you do your own schedule or you just like think what do what. They want to you to be a stable person, okay? And okay, this is why we ask you to research the company first. So how do you know about our company? If you having the interview with a very well-known company, basically you can tell that, oh, I know you since blah blah blah. Then I get the confirmation like da da da. So if you don't know the company at all, this is time for you to telling them, or you actually reach out to them or knowing them from LinkedIn, from JobStreet, and when confirmation with lecturers, and they also suggest you to come here, something like that. And how do you handle stress? I think this is also important. So you can just telling them honestly how do you handle the stress. And do you have any questions? Don't be silent on this question and just telling them no, I have no any questions. So this is the time that you should like knowing them more, such as your allowance maybe, if they didn't mention, such as the working environment. So if you're not sure, because maybe they will just put on JobStreet, this is they are recruiting internship, but they didn't mention clearly which department are it. You can mention about the working position, the working environment, and more and more. It's trying to know them and giving them the signal that you are really want to joining them. And then if you are going to have a specific position such as like IT, do expect that there will maybe some checking on that time. Then maybe we'll just give you some random questions such as if you want to run a code and then suddenly you found something bug or what, how do you solve it? Or they will just directly ask you to show something that from there. So after the interview, you need to wait two things. First is wait. Just wait. Second, if you're waiting too long, then follow up. That's all. And here is the email for you to follow up. You just again thank you for them and looking forward to meeting you again. Then that's all. You don't want to say any, oh, I had never heard from you for a long time, so I'm here to following up from you. No, you shouldn't do that. You should just like hint them that I want to meet you again. Then they will reply from there. Okay, that's all for interview. So once again, if you haven't joined our Instagram, you can scan here. If you haven't joined our Telegram, you can scan here. We will post a lot of internship position. And even after you graduate, we post a lot of job opportunities over here. Scan this one. If you already create a LinkedIn, kindly follow us and we will follow back you. Let's build a connection, okay? Okay, I think that's all from me. So we'll open the floor right now for Q&A and Rahman will be the one who answering your questions.
Okay, thank you, Terry. So I think we have our first question by Yong Chien. So under work experience, can I mention the work I did in Yemen? For example, student ambassador, yes. So you should definitely include those kind of roles, especially since you're very active in voluntary works, especially as a student ambassador, for example, for career fair, for orientation, those kind of things shows that you're very dedicated. And like I mentioned, those are some transferable skills that employees would like to see. Okay. Can I wear closed shoes? Do I have to wear high heels? You can wear either one as long as it's very appropriate, and it's easy for you to walk. So I have to class. Okay. For the education part, do I need to include my secondary school information? Also, may I know if I don't have any achievements, can I just ignore the part? So for this, Huilin, actually, it I feel like it's okay to have at least two, which is, let's say if you've doing your degree right now and you have your diploma, two should be enough. However, if you feel like you need to emphasize more in terms of your education, in which you've been a very good scorer, for example, you've scored 9 A's during SPM, and then you've have good grades in your diploma, then you can include that as well. But I feel like for the most part, two should be enough. As for achievements, like I mentioned, if you are not that active, then it should not be a thing. You can just exclude that. You don't have to include. You should include things that you can make a point and you want to emphasize those kind of skills or things that you have other than your achievements. For resume, can I add a segment about relevant project assignments that I work for? Yes, like I mentioned, for roles that is more technical on the side, which, for example, your computer science, you do have multiple projects where you do using multiple languages and programming softwares. You should include that in your, I say, projects or assignments and show what kind of result or what impact that you did during that role. So those kind of things are very good, especially for technical roles. Okay. If you do have a GitHub profile, you should include as well, especially since employees like to see how you do your work in terms of your coding, in terms of the flow. Those kind of things are very, very good. We must prepare the cover letter and send the company, or can just prepare the resume only. For this question is very, very subjective because some companies actually are okay with just resumes. Some would even want cover letter, but it depends. If you want to be over prepared, it's never too wrong, right? So you can have both as well. There are several resume and CV formats without picture. Will it be okay? Yes, it will be okay. But you know, sometimes it's very optional. It's so subjective. In a way, even employees don't want to see your face. So maybe they want to know how the person is. You know, that they're going to say, what do you call this? Not apply, but basically have as an employee. So you can include as well. But if you don't want to, it's also fine. How do you reject a job offer from a company if you have already better options? Okay, for these questions, I want to emphasize very, very strong. Let's say if you have already accepted offer letter or company, you should not reject because you've already signed. It's a legal binding agreement and you are no longer able to go back and accept another offer. However, if you have multiple interviews from multiple companies and you are currently in a dilemma, and after weighing your options to see which one is good, you decide to go for this company. And you can actually just mention to the company in the email, or yeah, if it's an email, then you can just draft a short email saying that thank you for the opportunity provided. However, I have, I have found a better, not better lah, but I have seek another application which aligns more towards what I see myself in the future. Thank you for the opportunity and hope you find a better candidate than me. So something like that. And then you can accept the other offer. Okay. So to ask for references, do we just email to the professors? Yes. You can just email, or if you're close to them, you can just ask them WhatsApp saying that, are you okay with being my referee for my reference? And if you do, then just ask them to provide their information. If you already have, then it's okay. So any more questions? If you're too shy or if you want to speak up, then you can talk as well.
Okay, so for one thing to add on, during the first. I'm sharing my screen. No worries. So one thing to add on, when you include your reference lecturer, and there's a telephone right here, right? You don't include their personal telephone. There's almost every one of them do have the office line. You just include the office line that start with like all three and then something there. However, if they don't have and they're really willing to give you their contact number, you can include that. If they don't want to give it to you, okay, then if they want to do any of the research, they will just directly email to the lecturers.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good point by Terry. You should not include if they, if they don't permit or if they find it sensitive. question by Chien. Can we email our resume to career services to have proofread? Sure, but only after you've amended based on the session today, which is you include all the relevant sections, you've refined according to what we've advised, and after that we can help to further refine if that's needed. Okay, should I have to mention my internship from start to date? Actually, you don't have to, because you already have your application letter. So when you do apply for the internship placement, you would have to attach it as well, so they would know your internship dates. When can we start sending the resumes? As soon as possible. If you've already have one that's ready to go, then just blast. But if you need our help to further refine it, then you can just send it to our career service email. We can help to give a few feedbacks or suggestions, and if it's good to go, you can just start applying for your internship. If I want to extend my internship, okay, for the letter, right? If you do wish to extend, you need to email us, Zeki, and let us know for how long you wish to extend your internship placement. Okay? Like I mentioned, if you want to extend, it can only be done during the duration that we've allowed. It cannot interfere with your coming or your current and also your upcoming semester. Okay. Can I include the position of community service I've done in my resume? Yes, you should. You should include that in your volunteering experiences. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can send the resume to multiple companies disposable. Yeah. Especially since a lot of the, I say, online job applications right now, they only do like a Dropbox, so you can just attach your resume. So if I was you, I would just go to, let's say, Jobstreet or LinkedIn and apply for the relevant job position, and then just drop your resume or your cover letters, and they would know. And if they're interested, they will get back to you based on that. So during the interview, if they ask how I know about the company, can I mention that someone, example, lecturer, recommended me? Yeah, sure. You can use the, what we call this, from the word of mouth. So saying that, oh, I've heard from my lecturer, from my friend, that your company is very good in terms of your profile. You do a lot of things which relates to dip, and you are also keen, interested, because you are looking yourself, venturing into this interest in the future. So it's a good way for you to say, oh, I kind of like your company and I want to work for you, more than just internship. So you can say it like that. Okay, but for interviews, like I mentioned, it's usually a very both ways kind of thing. Okay, you shouldn't just have them to really ask questions and you answer it. You should know what to ask as well, especially since you're going to go for the internship for, let's say, 3 months, 6 months. You should know really well on what kind of company that you're going to go for. So you should ask in terms of what are the benefits that they offer you, what are the things that the roles for this particular role that you're going for, what are the daily tasks or what the expectations that you're looking for, and things that what can you further improve in terms of being in this team, that kind of dynamic. So you should more in terms of you're interested in the role more than they're interested in you. So that's the kind of thing that you should portray whenever you're going for interviews. So if I participated in some volunteer activities in middle school, can I mention them? Sure. If that's one of the, let's say, volunteering works that you feel that is strong and only that time was active in your, let's say, in studies, then you may include that as well. As long as it may not be relevant, but it shows that you are dedicated and, like I said, you are involved other than your studies. So as an IBU student, if I learn coding myself and I just know the basic of coding only, could I write in the resume the skills section? Sure, you can put that as your technical skills. Because we can still mention that you've learned from, I think it's, what was it called? It's a school, WW3 school. Or let's say if you have a certificate that you've learned from LinkedIn for, let's say, Python, then you can include that as well. At least they know that you've undertook a skill set that's not relevant to your study, but you still do it out of your free time. Sure, why not? Okay, so I have to email you first about extend internship started 24th January, then send the resume to company after adjustment internship date. Yes, so let's say if the date for your internship request is okay, then we will reissue another one to mention that you may exceed with this internship date. Okay, But let's say just email it to us and we'll see from there, okay? All right, nice. So any more questions, guys? I feel like you guys are quite quiet today. Or last week was a lot of questions. Or if you're very like confident in terms of your resume, then you can leave, like no problem. This one is only for those who feel like, you're unsure how to start, especially, since from studying now you have to look for jobs. It's very like different. So if I participate competition outside of campus, can I write a resume? Sure. So even the competition is not relevant, but it shows that you are active, let's say, not only in your studies, but outside as well. Hi, currently have class. Okay, bye-bye. We will send you the recordings later, so just make sure to tune into that if you missed out on some things during the session. Let's say I'm going for a technical position. How relevant are my soft skills? I say they're not as relevant, but they are equally as relevant, especially since you're going to be dealing with humans too, okay? You're not just dealing with machines or computers. When I say you do have, let's say, a database or a sort of a program that you want to show, you need to have the skills to convey what you did to your supervisor or to your colleagues in a way that they can understand. So I would say having a technical skills and soft skill is more relevant as well. So if I want to start my internship earlier than the date started in the application letter, is that right? Will the application letter starting date be amended? No, we will not amend, but we will be allowed, because once you have your application letter, you will just send it to the company. Let's say if they approve you of starting earlier, then we will issue your acceptance letter in a way to show that you are accepted to go earlier, but the dates will not change, because according to our requirement, the university requirement and also MQA, the Malaysian Qualification Agency, you cannot amend too far in a way that it will affect your classes or for your next semester. So usually it's only an agreement between you and your company, but we will approve it from our side lah. Okay, it's a bit confusing, but if you unsure, just share us the details of your offer letter or of the internship application that you want to amend, and I will advise from there. Is there any tips for work interviews during the career fair? Be confident. Be sure what you want and what you can sell yourself in terms of your skills or your achievements or something that you feel is relevant to them. So in a way that they can see that, oh, actually this person is quite good. I want to have them as my internship for next year. So you should have that kind of aura, let's say, or charisma. Okay. So it's good to be confident, but it's not good to be cocky again. Okay. You should know that you should be humble in a way that you know yourself, but you don't want to show yourself you know too much. Okay. So if we wanted to extend our internship, we have to wait for the approval from CS first before we send to our company CV. You can start applying already. Let's say if the companies get back to you and say that, okay, we want to have you, but we want to amend the dates between this to this, okay? Then you come back to us and we see from which date is it okay. And let's say if you want to know before us, you can also ask your internship coordinator on the dates whether it's okay, because they would know as well. Okay, so each of you have been assigned with your own internship coordinators. So if you want to, before you send to us, you can consult with your internship coordinators first to seek for the approval. And once it's okay, you can get back to us and we will do the necessary steps. Do we need to mention how long we do intern? If need, where should I add? You don't need to in your resume because you already have your application letter. So you don't need to mention it already in your resume, because once you apply for your internship placement, you also attach your internship application letter, because most of the time it's needed by the company to show that you are a legitimate student and we allow you to go for internships. Okay. Okay, guys, you guys all ready to go for internships? Okay. But you don't have to be afraid in a way that it's always a stepping stone. Like you mentioned, it's only the step for you to know what you want. And it can be a bit bumpy, it can be very good, but it's not the end. Okay, it's always just another step for you to go upwards. So always think with a very positive mindset. There's always something for you out there. Okay, guys. Huh? Okay, sure. Okay, okay. Just for me and Terry's discussion, actually, we can maybe arrange next week for a walk-in resume session. So if you guys want to, you can just come along in office, but by appointment in terms of when you want and when, and we can arrange to see your resume and fine-tune it in person if it's okay. So you can just wait for an email for that, and if you're interested, you can just drop an appointment, and we can help you. Is it possible to take 1 week leave during my internship and extend it for another week? It is not advisable, especially during your internship, because you are given only limited amount of leaves. And if it's really, really emergency, then you should. But let's say if you're taking a week off just for holiday, it's not going to be good, especially for employers and from our side, because we don't necessarily allow for that kind of extension. Okay, so unless it's a really, really emergency, then it's allowed. But if not, then you are given the duration, let's say for 16 weeks, to go for your internship, and do not like take unnecessary leaves if possible. So if my internship is during Chinese New Year, I can only take the public holiday leaves. Yep, rest in peace. So you guys are only given, I think, one leave per month. Let's say if you're taking for 4 months internship, then only 4 days. So, and unfortunately, that's how it is, guys. Okay. So while you're still free now, just enjoy it. So next week, can send resume to CS review. Can I send it after midterm? Sure. So anytime next week, you guys can just let me know, or let me and Terry know when you guys want to have the resume review, and we can help to arrange a physical walk-in for you guys. Okay, so this is I think there's a dot. Okay, no, that should be fine. So this is our email address, but I think you guys have already in your emails. Anything, you can just drop down your email to our email address here. Okay, so no questions? Is everything okay? So if there's no more questions, then we can end our session now, okay? But if you have any more questions, related to internships or not, you can just drop